Women don't talk about their sexuality. Women don't express their sexual objectification of men. So men don't know how to objectify themselves for women. And
I will tell you how.
You're never gonna get that.
Wait a minute. I can tell you how. I can tell you how.
Hey, shut up.
The way that you get a straight woman following is that the women are gonna look
over the woman. I'm looking for sexy women.
Sexy women are gonna look at you and they're gonna be like, "That's a guy." Hey, shut up.
Stardust.
Hey, what's up? I feel a little bit bad for the incels, you know? I feel a little sympathy for them. I feel like, you know, the dating market is changing, the way that we date is changing, and it's confusing, and it's changing so rapidly, we can't keep up with it. What are the rules? We don't know what the rules are. We need some good male role models for these males. And I think red pillars, you know, I'm not a huge fan of the red pill. I'm really into the white pill. There's a little small group of people in that red pill community that consider themselves white pillars, and they're much more hopeful. They're much more positive. They're much more kind and compassionate than their red pill counterparts, and I'm really a fan of that new little movement popping up.
Yeah, so I mean, I definitely feel bad for the incels as well. They're just poor, sad little guys that can't get any pussy.
I just want to say that, like, with all like, obviously, I want to put incels on an island. I think that's the right thing to do, but incels have given us incel punk rock, which currently is possibly the best genre of music being produced. It's the most unique, it's the most interesting. People like Negative XP are brilliant, and also they never copyright strike anything, so I can use it on the stream, and it's fantastic. So I think that they're like, I just want to throw that out there to the people supporting incels. There are like good sides to this movement, and you know, music is important to us.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World ruined an entire generation of women is always a really good song, I have to say.
MK Ultra Victim is so good as well.
Yeah.
I'll start off by saying I do think that like a lot of the social issues do start with feminism. I think that like a lot of things shifted a little bit too far over to one side. I think that like women moving up in status while still expecting men to have higher status than them is a big part of it. They haven't changed their expectations of men, while what we expect of women has gone up. And so I think that that leaves a lot of men at the bottom. And then obviously there's issues with like social media where boys from an early age have issues socializing. Women learn to socialize much earlier than men do, but then men learn to play video games earlier and get on computers earlier and on the internet earlier, and they make friends in very antisocial ways to where they're not learning how to communicate like the rest of us are. And I do think that like there ends up being a lot of systemic issues that grow over time based on social norms that we're currently building and not adjusting to.
I don't think it's necessarily
the internet
I don't think it's necessarily that we're building these social norms. I think that going ahead and looking at classically, you know, women, where it would be just going ahead and having all the girls around, cooking dinner, you know, building that whole thing up. You know, I'm only 33. I still remember that shit happening around holidays. And then the guys, we would just watch football and dick off and shit. You know, eventually they realized, hey, we didn't have any children, so we're going to teach you how to do it, Resi. And like, so now I have a love for baking and cooking and doing all that stuff, having like that social, you know, part of it. This is just the way that it's always been. Men have don't have this original social shit unless we're going to war. And I think that without like, you know, massive wars breaking out all the time, men aren't building that camaraderie with other men, and that ultimately is reducing any way for them to socialize and make these groups with like some sort of societal function.
So what you're saying
the thing is, like, a lot of these guys, a lot of these red pillars and incels are saying that men shouldn't be cooking because men should not be cooking because cooking is like a feminine thing, which is completely absurd. Cooking is not necessarily a feminine thing. Like, being like self-reliant upon a man is very, very important. Here's
the thing. Barbecue has always been a masculine thing. Doing a barbecue is a highly masculine thing.
Well, what about making a cake?
That is socialization, and we don't even fucking have barbecue anymore, dude.
Yeah, well, you can have barbecue. Who says you can't have fucking barbecue? Nobody says you can't have barbecue.
I want to respond really quickly to something the guy underneath me said. I haven't remember what is your name? Tomfoolery. I don't think that feminism has gone too far. I think that the feminist criticisms of men are fine. It's just they're ignoring any criticisms of women. So like we're saying you shouldn't do this, man. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do this. But we're not like also applying criticisms back to women. So it's like women are maintaining all these like 1950s social like they're allowed to be like sexual objects and like promote themselves in that way where men don't really have that kind of power. And it's like, well, they're getting their cake and eating it too, I think.
I wouldn't say feminism's gone too far, but I would say that like we've gotten used to worrying about women's issues and not men's issues, and that right now it's hard for us to imagine that men would have issues with women, right? Like my issue isn't that feminism has gone too far, it's that we have adjusted our expectations of women, yet women have not adjusted their expectations of men, and I think that this changes the dating market.
Do you think that there's an overcorrection problem there, Tom?
Yeah,
the problem is though is that other men.
Problem. It's more about expectations. From
the problem is though is that it's other men putting other men down. Like if like a man says I have a problem, other men call him a fucking.
Hold on now. It's not just men.
Is the man.
Problem.
Normally the men that
Oh my God! Please.
What about the femcells, guys? I feel bad for the femcells.
No,
Alex,
I don't.
You cannot deny that women do that too.
Contribute to the problem.
I can't hear anything because everyone's talking at fucking once.
You're talking over the last person talking, Alex. That's stupid.
Can we let the incel talk for a minute, please?
Yeah,
blame fucking me, right? Blame me, right?
Guys, listen to me. Reservoir was onto something. We need to send the incels to war. We need to make a platoon of incels.
God damn it!
All
of them.
They're bonding.
Okay,
The worst platoon ever.
Actually, men and women right?
contribute to the problem.
I was looking at, sorry, what were you saying, Floaters?
I was going to say, I think it's true that men and women both contribute to the problem. It seems pretty dumb to focus on one over the other. I think the biggest, I think that tomfoolery was sort of onto something when he talks about the fact that I don't think that feminism is necessarily a problem, but the problem is we don't seem to have a real bed of advocacy for a lot of the unique problems that men face. And if you want to talk about why that is, I don't know, that's a really complicated question. It seems like most of these movements are usually driven by the group that is primarily affected. Like the civil rights movement was primarily driven by black people. Feminism was primarily driven by women. And man, it seems like as men, we have a really big problem like focusing on this kind of shit as opposed to other things, for better or for worse. So on the one hand, you know, men seem to do really well in very highly competitive environments like work and sports and stuff like that. But my God, I don't know, maybe this is just my personal life, but speaking as a adolescent male who's been in a lot of adolescent male friend groups, oh my God, if I could tell you the amount of times we've autistically debated over the correct optimization in a video game versus like talked about how we felt, my lord, like the balance is completely out of whack. So it feels like there's a real problem of men who are always going to need to be the primary drivers of talking about men's issues have a real problem of actually being able to do that.
No.
They're ostracized.
So flow trace. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna address why. Give me 1 second. So when we
on black people, in the same way that men are always going to be more interested in the problems facing men than other people. That's not to say other people don't contribute to it. That's not to say that we don't need women to step up as well, but it is to say that there's a really big, it's no surprise that the group that has a real big problem talking about these kinds of issues seems to be lagging behind. And
Hold on. Why is it then? Why is it that having to have these conversations now?
It is
The reason
Come on, slow down, everybody.
Slow the fuck down.
I would say that implies that there's no like negative social ramifications for a man to advocate on his own behalf based on being a man. That's kind of largely frowned upon in current society with whenever a certain group that is perceived to be in like a dominant position to advocate for its own interests as opposed to a group that's in a less dominant position to advocate for their own self-interest based on that identity group.
Men who advocate for themselves are called incels.
Yeah, it's
not actually. There are men who advocate.
Still,
I need to bring some clarity to this real quick. We treat men
referred to as men's rights activists, and it's still pejorative.
Which, by the way, I want to go back to what Beckett said about men advocating.
Can we go back to what Rez was saying? Because Rez has been. Hey,
can we go back to what Alexa was saying?
Can we go back to
Here's a legitimate question. Do you guys actually think that women look down at men who advocate for themselves or who show some sort of strong?
Yes.
Chat, I fucking love this. This shit is hilarious to me. I hope you're enjoying it too.
More like, I guess, lefty groups. Is men's rights activists not used as a pejorative term to insult somebody?
Hold on. I asked you.
It can be. It can be, but
Jesus, the question I asked was, do women look down upon men who advocate for themselves?
Yes. Okay. Yes. So it's
like no fucking shot. If you guys have ever talked to like a woman who's been married for like 10, 20, 30, 40 years, like some older woman who's been in the same marriage the entire time, like what do they say about their husbands? They love them because they're strong, but they can still be able to express themselves to their wives and show that vulnerable side. They can hold on. They can protect the family. They can protect the family.
You're selecting for women that have healthy relationships. We're talking about.
Oh, is that what you think?
Finish the fucking point. Can you just get a point out? Jesus. Please.
So
listen,
say that
no.
Holy fucking shit! You guys actually have zero.
Tell me what you think.
Yeah, holy shit, you guys have zero fucking impulse control. Holy shit. Okay, so like they're gonna talk about all the things that are like traditionally masculine about their husband that like we would look at and say, wow, this is like what a man is. But they're also gonna say like he can be vulnerable with me when he needs to be, right? He can be a good father and like explain to our children like what good morals and bad morals are, while still being understanding of like why they might have done the thing that was wrong, right? Like these sorts of things might not be traditionally masculine. The second part of what I'm talking about, right? Like where you're not showing any fucking emotion, like, but that's still what women tend to go for.
You're talking about a marriage, not a dating. You're talking about 1 second. He's talking about a marriage though. He's not talking about the dating scene. He's talking about someone who's already. He's talking about someone who's already succeeded. Wait, stop. He's already talking about. He's talking about someone who's already succeeded in a relationship and has got to the point. Wait, holy shit!
Please let him finish.
Listen, you guys are all missing out on the fact that if I go on a date with a girl and she starts crying in the middle of the first date, I'm walking the fuck out of there because that bitch is a psychopath. We treat everybody the exact same way. People whine and cry and their fucking emotions are out on the outside constantly. We don't interact with these people. We shun these people for not being able to keep their shit together. It doesn't matter if they're male or female. You gotta be able to handle your shit. And women are a little bit better at being able to do that.
I'm sorry, chat. I know that this is chaotic, but I fucking love this shit. It is hilarious to me.
Don't go down somebody's rabbit hole. He's just trying to drag us down a rabbit hole. Okay, so Sansol, you're talking about someone who's already succeeded in a relationship. You're not talking about the dating scene. Yeah. The dating scene is a completely different like puzzle. So when you're trying to be in the dating scene, you're talking. You're talking.
Listen to him. I want to listen to Spartacus, and then I want to respond to him. Don't fucking scream. What? Mute yourself. Okay. Holy fucking shit.
You're talking to women you don't know at this point. And women that you don't know are going to be far more likely to turn you down when they see you're too emotional than women that you've already dated for several years, that you've already grown that trust and relationship with, that they expect to be the person you turn to when you are emotional. At that point, they expect it, but when you're dating, that's not necessarily what they expect.
Okay, can I respond to that? Okay, so the idea that, like, number one, I think that somebody, despite his fucking crazy interruption a second ago, I think he's right. Yeah, like, if you're going to be sitting there sobbing on the first date, yeah, the girl's probably not going to want to be with you to go to the second fucking date. But if you're talking about, like, if you're going on dates and you, like, can have a good time the first couple of dates, right? You start to get to know the fucking person, and then you can, like, open up to them a little bit. Like, yeah, that is what people are looking for in their partner, someone that they can connect with on a deeper level. That it's not like women are like, oh, well, this guy, like, showed some emotion that wasn't instant rage or, like, wanting to murder someone or, like, other than that, like stoicism, like women aren't looking for those qualities in men, right?
We
They
just
don't want
saw
the fucking sociopath. They don't want the sociopath that you think men have to be.
We just saw the scene where the girl starts going after
about
the guy.
situations where like you're talking about guys who like can at least get on a fucking date. You keep having these conversations where it's like, oh well, what if you're in this healthy relationship? We all know what the meme of an incel is like, because they're all like, oh well, if my chin's the wrong fucking shape, no one's gonna date me. I need to be 6 foot, and otherwise I'm gonna die alone. There is like a deeper thing going on there with the psychology of men who are under these influences, and this is also leading on to why the red pill movement's having such an effect, because it's teaching men how to look like an idealized version, because they think women are fucking automatons. They can't get to the point of having a healthy relationship because they don't have like a realistic view of another type of human being. It's like trying to explain to a racist.
That's my critique. Is
If
that
I can,
think that the
if I
red
can
pill
butt
is
in
giving
here.
bad advice that you can show some emotion to.
Louder, Stardust.
I would like to butt in here. I would
Go
like
ahead,
to butt
Stardust.
in here. Yeah. So I think that there's a very good point here being made, in that I think a lot of incels and a lot of these people who subscribe to these ideas may be a result or a symptom. I don't know, but it shows that there is an increase in body dysmorphia for men. Right? There is an increase in body dysmorphia for men, and it's increasing.
Dragon Ball Z.
It's increasing to percentages that are now problematic, that are now causing trouble for a significant population of men, and I think I could see this actually as very much as a public health problem that we could address.
Well, here's the hold on, wait. Okay, let me can I please step in? Can I wait, stop.
He hasn't talked.
Moderator, rein him in. So I'm gonna butt and I'm gonna talk. Yeah. I've been listening to this entire conversation, and it's extremely fucking stupid because everyone's talking about their feelings on everything, and no one has done any research on any of this shit. Do we think that the rise in sexlessness is unique to men?
No, it's not.
It's they run parallel to each other. Okay, good. Because
I wouldn't say parallel. I would say that women generally would still have an easier time.
No, the studies have come out. Studies have come out to show that women are having less sex at the same rates that men are. It's only a few. Yeah, it's only a few years behiund.
Women are talking about shorter amounts of time. Men are more lonely over longer.
No, it's from the same study. It's from the same study.
Everybody shut the fuck up for a second, all right? So they run parallel. Women have more sex than men on average, right? But they run parallel to each other. It's because the issue of sexlessness is independent from a lot of the shit. The shit that we're talking about is stupid subjective individualism when the issues are economic. It's ridiculous. There's so much empirical data that shows when we have a rise of sexlessness, it's due to a recession. It's due to property inflation, and it's due to knowledge economics. That's the primary drivers of sexlessness. And the incel community is extremely small. And so we're talking about like this rise of sexlessness, and it's almost like implied as like a male specific thing. You guys haven't said that, right? But that's kind of the implication. And it's we're not addressing any of the actual issues at hand. It's just like fucking.
Well, I would like to say I have been advocating. I would like to say I have been advocating for femcells for a very long time. Okay, femcells exist.
So I do want to ask something.
What Joe said literally echoes exactly what tomfoolery said, right? Where it's like, again, yeah, women are in better economic advantageously conditions. They're trying to still do the way that it used to be, which is data, right? That's the same.
No, that's not what I said.
Okay, what you said
is a complete misinterpretation.
Yeah,
the primary driving factor to the rise. The primary factor in the rise of sexlessness is people living at their parents' house and going to college. Those are the primary driving factors of sexlessness. Hold on, wait. Why are those?
Can you repeat it? Say it one more time.
That's true. That's true.
Holy
Wait,
shit.
say it again, please.
It is economic crunch. It is economic crunch, but the thing behind that, there still is this unhealthy dynamic between men and women that economic crunch pulls out. That's what it's showing us something that's underneath there all the time.
These issues, so like I said before, the stagnation of like the rise in sexual partners, it was roughly been the same since 1994, right? We've been doing research on involuntary celibacy since the 1940s.
Hold on. You're looking at the wrong thing, though. You keep talking about sexlessness. Well, we're not just talking about sexlessness. We're talking about loneliness.
What is
incels being radicalized by social media pipelines?
Dog, what is an incel?
It's somebody who, but it's not just.
What is the root word of an incel?
You're talking about a symptom of loneliness, whereas loneliness is a causal issue of them being sexless.
Okay. Can you explain to me?
Over and over, like the same thing with the economic issue. You're talking about a cause of another issue instead of talking about the issue.
For what 2 words?
Say that again.
It's a portmanteau for what 2 words? The word incel.
Involuntarily.
You can reduce it to that, and it'd be really obnoxious if you did. But
yes,
you're just ignoring what the actual issue is.
Just like your statement about economics, you're talking about correlation equals causation with the economics. We're talking about there's another level deeper than that.
Can we go back? Wait a minute. Can we go back to? We know that a lot of red pillars and a lot of incels are massively obsessed with their bone structure, with their facial shape, with things like this. It is a very clear indicator that all of these men have some sort of body dysmorphia, and we need to actually tackle this from a health perspective.
I think okay. So when it comes down to the incel communities, a lot of them have the main problem that like a lot of these guys have dealt with is they have this like fear of rejection, and once they get rejected, they feel like the whole world is coming down upon them, and then they listen to somebody's like, you know what, this guy, I identify with him essentially. He's talking about how I need to improve my body and I need to be a better person, stuff like that. But then they kind of take it a little too far. They feel like the only way for you to get women is to be this alpha male. You need to treat women a certain way so that way they respect you. The best way in order, like, when it comes down to it, the best thing that you can definitely say is to not pretend to be something that you're not. That's the number one thing. This is coming from somebody that had dry spells for many years of plenty. I can tell you this much. Okay. The best thing that a man can do is just be himself. Because you're not gonna stop me there, okay? Because I'm gonna fucking listen. You guys can stop me all you fucking want to, but I'm telling you that the best thing that a man can do is just be him fucking self, love himself for who he is, and not pretend to be somebody he fucking isn't. Simple as that.
Don't be
I would argue.
I disagree with all of Alex's. Advice here. Just letting you all know.
Thank you. Jesus Christ. Look, real quick, okay? Because I know a lot of people want to talk. I'm going to argue that there's actually no way that anybody could come up with a perfect dating market where everyone is going to get laid. There's going to be a percentage of people who aren't going to be able to get laid or laid with regularity, and that's just how it is. And the fact that we're trying to overanalyze this to the point of we have to come up with some sort of public health solution to resolve that. I get being compassionate, but I also think that this is a little silly, right? Since time immemorial, men have tried to figure out how to get women who are not attracted to them to sleep with them. Some guys succeed, some guys don't. That's just life.
Hey, Goofy for Jesus, thank you so much for the gifted tier 1 sub.
It is, and it might have something to do with looks, but usually it has a lot more to do with you as a person, and the shit that you do with your life. And if you're that unattractive to people that no one will fuck you at all, ever, then that probably says a lot about, the way your life is going, and you should probably make some practical changes. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
just be yourself.
Okay,
but
again,
yourself. I feel like
this doesn't seem to have anything to do with the actual question around incels.
Let me make
have
one
a large.
Someone has a question for me.
Nothing.
I have a question for non-smoker, real quick.
No, hold on. Can we hear something from
go ahead.
Because he's been quiet all the time. He wanted to say something. Let him speak.
Okay. I feel like you guys are all ignoring what the actual issue is. The issue is not sex, all right? The issue isn't the fact that incels exist. The issue is the ones that are idealized to fucking hate women, all right? The ones that are going to actually commit damage to society and danger to women. People not having sex doesn't fucking matter. People always have and always will not be able to get sex. The issue is when you have people who are spouting things that is domestic violence and things like that. That's where the actual issue comes up. Not the fact that people just aren't having sex.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a couple questions, Gorps. Gorps, let me ask you a couple questions. So when you say that sexlessness is not the issue, you're talking about extremized individuals, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you talk about extremized individuals, these individuals have been so far down this rabbit hole that they've had the ability to become extreme. This isn't like the first. This isn't the first interaction that they've had with the group. This is the umpteenth interaction they've had with the group, and now they're in a just an echo chamber where everything that someone else says is correct. So that's the issue, and the issue behind that, right, is the idea that men's rights. Like, men's rights is a huge issue behind that because they feel that something is wrong. And something is wrong. We can take a look at society. We can take a look at suicide rates. We can take a look at incarceration rates. We can take a look at men not getting their child. We can take a look at many different things. But something is wrong. And so they're asking these questions. And when they're left in this echo chamber, the answers continue to get worse and worse and worse. So if we don't talk about this as a society, what you're suggesting is the problem is only going to get worse, not because it's a problem, but because it's a symptom of the problem. And sure, we can put a Band-Aid on it, but it's not going to fix the issue. Eventually the water's going to leak, and you're going to have a much bigger issue when the Band-Aid comes off.
He was talking to me. He was talking to me. I already said that we need to have men's rights be an actual thing that's talked about within the United States. But the lack of sex is what I'm pointing out. That doesn't fucking matter. It comes down to men's rights issues. It comes down to mental health issues, not the fucking lack of sex. Okay,
I agree with
these
you there.
people
But lack
would
of
probably
sex
go
is
down
a
this
big part of
pipeline
that.
for any small reason other than
And I'll say,
fucking not.
So it's also made a point earlier when he was talking about women criticizing men.
Hold
on.
Growing up,
men.
If we're circling back to the question of sexlessness, Joe had a bunch of data on that, and I just have a genuine question for Joe. This isn't a gotcha, but just so you can clarify, if it's the case that we see certain economic conditions being the most consistent predictor or cause of these sexless conditions, do we see a similar spike or a comparable spike in the kind of sexlessness that we're describing now, say in previous economic crises like stagflation or anything like that?
And in other countries as well.
When you say you right down to the hem length of dresses, you can predict economic factors from how long dresses are and things. There's loads of things through the the Great Depression period, and also generally through the fall of different empires and economic factors. You can look at Puritanism in British history is actually in reference to the economic conditions around those particular periods. So yes, sex and economy track all through human history.
And even today, this same thing doesn't even just show up in the Western world, but also in the East as well. And it's all independently centered around economic conditions. The thing is, though, I wasn't saying oh, that's the only thing we should focus on. That's the root for the issue. Because with any other political issue, any sort of issue, first of all, the root of this issue is sexlessness, by the way. It's a lack of relationship. So I don't, I mean, that's just the fact. But then the other thing, too, is the other issues are implied because of that. Because when you have a political or individual issue that is that you can center a large community around, they tend to scapegoat and victimize another group for their issues. And that's just something that's consistent through all of politics.
I want to push back on you a little bit, because when we're talking about sexlessness, we need to be really fucking clear here, because this is part of, again, the problem with the incel community. It's talked about as sex, there is this human meat conception of women. But if it was just sex, and again, you can look at the data of the increase in the sex industry for an example of this, and that it's not actually helping. It's not just sex, it's that men, while we have an interaction socially or biologically or whatever with sex, and the way we approach it is different to women, it's not just that. We need that closeness. There's something we can't get from prostitution.
If it was simply sex, listen, this is very short. If it was just sex, right? If it was just a feeling of getting off, then they would be totally fine with just a fucking fleshlight or one of those fucking $5,000 silicone things that they could fuck. But that's not the problem. It's not just the sex. It's the fact that they also want the closeness.
The reason
experience of being with someone else.
The reason that I'm using the term sexlessness is because it goes beyond involuntary virginity. Involuntary virginity is tracked with sexlessness. The only reason I use sexlessness is just because it's the most like vague thing I can use to track like vague data, and it's not like specifically about just fucking one person. So or getting.
I'm just trying to
stands.
clarify down because I know how other people might read that.
We
stuff,
can
so I'm
talk
just trying to
about-
get that like
There's a
clarity on
we
what
can
you
talk
mean,
about
okay?
involuntary virginity, and it's gonna have the same rate and the same root cause.
Okay,
There's a crucial element I think that we're missing here, and that's that men growing up are socialized to believe that if they're not having sex, that they're failures, right? So like that's a big part of it. So when you're taught all growing up, like you got to have sex, you got to have a family, you got to have kids, you got to do this and that, you got to have a woman who loves you and you love her back. Those are all great things to have. Don't get me wrong, but when you're taught that like if you don't do that, you're a failure. That on top of the economic conditions, on top of the social interaction that we're losing slowly because of the economic conditions, the internet, whatever else, these all compound into one gigantic problem salad, if you will, that, these all play off, all of these elements play off of each other. So I think looking at any one
people are looking
individually
for, right?
is not going to help. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's acceptance that people are looking for. It's not necessarily, oh, I just gotta fuck. Or it's not just like, oh, I gotta find a girlfriend. It is the fact that because I don't have a girlfriend, because I can't find someone to fuck, because I can't do these like things that everybody else seems to either be able to do or is expected to do, I am somehow inadequate as a person, right? I'm not fitting into the social order in the way that I'm supposed to. So what they're actually looking for at the end of the day is some sort of recognition that they fit in. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
companionship is so vital, honestly.
The problem we're having in this conversation is no matter what we say, we keep criticizing men, and we're not talking about so we're living in a society that's creating these conditions that men are falling into these traps. So we're just going to keep criticizing men. I think the hyper criticism of men is a big contributing factor to the reason that men are falling into these traps.
Okay,
I'm a man, so I can be critical as men.
Ideologies like what should we do?
Is there anybody here that seriously doesn't think that women have no role in, for example, some of the problems that men are facing? Like, I think it's a fair point to make that societally we don't talk enough about the problems that men are facing, but equally, not every conversation about men's rights needs to suddenly become a conversation, well, what about women too? In fact, I think that's part of the problem, is the fact that every time we try to talk about men's rights, feminism has to come up. It's a component that should be discussed, but it shouldn't be our primary focus, and this is part of the reason that we, as men, trying to advance our advocacy for our issues are constantly fucking getting in the way, is because we have a real problem, I think, focusing inward.
No.
A lot of them blame women for their problems. That's the problem. A lot of them blame women for their problems.
If you understand feminism for what it actually is,
I think on the count of 3, we're all going to give our hottest take on this issue, okay? 1, 2, 3.
It's Stardust.
I think guys should just get over it.
It's all Stardust's fault. That's the person to bring up women initially in this conversation.
Women because they feel they're unattractive to them.
I'm not pulling up women to discuss an issue that women have per se. I'm pulling up women to discuss an independent factor that we're not talking about. That was the point of me bringing up women. It's not to say women have it bad too.
Well, I
was
would
just
say that
trying to say
women,
that feminism is
that
not-
women do criticize men
inherently-
for like
I want to
having
hear from
their
Lion Potato.
desires.
We haven't heard from Lion whatsoever. So Lion, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that women do criticize men for having their desires. And I think, like, from my perspective, what the red pill means is that men's desires aren't treated equally and they're looked down on. So a woman who says, I want an older guy who makes more money than me, and is perfectly acceptable. But when a man says, I want a younger woman who I can provide for, oh, you just want that so you can control her. You just want to be a misogynistic, patriarchal asshole. But how can you advocate for that relationship dynamic for the woman unless there's a man who also wants that thing, reciprocity? I see this also with the stigma between men expecting sex from women. With women, I've heard women of all ages, all races say, hey, if I have sex with a guy, I expect that he should at least pay for me to get my nails done, or at least pay a bill for me or something like that. But when the man says, oh, I've paid for this woman to get her nails done, I've paid bills for her, I expect sex, oh, now you're a misogynistic rapist type guy who just wants to abuse women and take away their body autonomy. It's this dynamic between only seeing things from a woman's perspective, and for me, the red pill is just looking at this from both ways and taking like an objective like description of this reality.
It's not only it's any expectations, any expectations that men have of women whatsoever. Like if you want to select for women that are older and have more money and that are going to pay for your meals during dates, that's also going to be seen as misogynistic. So even if you want the younger woman who's like doesn't know what the fuck she's doing in life, or you want the older established woman, which is the dream that women want, they want to have that for men. No matter what you expect from women, you can't have any expectations of women. But women have tons of expectations of men.
Well, on first dates, most women have expectations of men. Like I'm just like trying to speak from like what I've in regards to this, but like when people on a first date, the first thing you're doing is you're figuring each other out. Like, what can I see that myself with this person? And if it goes on the second date, that means that things have gone better, essentially. Now, that doesn't mean the relationship is necessarily going to work out, but this whole concept of like, oh well, this is not going to work out, so therefore I'm going to stop dating and I'm just going to start everything is everybody else's fault, but it's not my problem. A lot of it has to do with like, what issues do I bring to the table? Is it my fault kind of deal? What can I do to improve myself, essentially? That's a lot of it has to do with like, knowledge of yourself before you can move on to be able to, because relationships is a two-way street. You can't just say, oh, well, if I'm in a relationship, I'm the alpha, therefore I'm in charge of everything. Like that's what we have these really weird ideas of how relationships are. And people seem to think they have these weird, ridiculous expectations when relationships are really very much a two-way street. And some people they can't comprehend that. And that's the thing that most people don't really understand. That's something that we kind of need to work on, really. I mean,
Some
that's my opinion.
expectations are good, some expectations are bad, but men and women both put bad expectations on men.
Sure, absolutely. But it's how you work through those expectations.
Women are demonized for their expectations.
It's how you work through those expectations.
Stop.
There's definitely a weird
Absolutely.
expectation.
There are absolutely expectations that women put on men or each other that they are demonized for. There are some that they aren't. The reality is we live in a very diverse society with a lot of different social groups that have very different views about dating, about the role of men and women. So you can't combine all of these sort of truisms.
Okay, so where's the red pill?
That's what relationships are. They're two-way streets. You just can't expect everything to be one thing, and that's it.
And this
You're
can be
describing
fit
like a good,
with
perfect
one word,
relationship, which
and
in
that's
large
called
part
communication. If you communicate with with whoever you're dating, even if you're on like the first, second, third date, whatever. Like for instance, this Twitter video just came out recently of this guy who was recording this woman that he like imported from like across the country or whatever for like $3,000, and he's recording her because she wouldn't put out for him, right? So there was a social expectation in his mind, and it was a pretty fair expectation.
Hey, Siko Kagi, thank you for the gifted 5 tier 1 subs.
She would put out, right? And he was pissed off. Now, to be fair, it is completely within her right to say no. She's allowed to do that, and we should not be expecting her to put out just because he paid a bunch of money. What I will say is that what we need to work on is communication. If you are paying $3,000 for somebody to come and stay in a hotel for you, be clear. Say, hey, do you find me sexually attractive? Are we going to have sex? Whatever. She would rather you ask than not ask. And if she gets pissed off or weirded out that you would ask, that's a red flag. Dump her.
You really think that someone communicated for 6 months?
That's
no. See, but this is what I was talking about. It's prostitution where the man expects sex, but it's not prostitution where it's the other way around. Like
I don't think so. I think the whole idea of the sugar, the sugar mommy, that's still prostitution. Like
no, I'm saying,
bro, if you're paying someone $3,000 and hoping to get laid, it's prostitution.
Well, yeah, I know that, but a woman doing that is also prostitution.
No, hold on. You guys are missing his point. He's saying that if a woman expects to put out, if a man spends a lot of money, that's like
no. What I'm saying is. No, what I'm saying is the women hold the expectation that if I'm having sex with a guy, he should be willing to spend money on me.
You can make the argument.
I still cannot believe that there are 20 people in this fucking panel. It's hilarious.
You could make the argument that
have
that's
you
a
ever had a
normalized
one-night stand, bro?
Yeah, I'm sorry,
so
no.
That's usually where it ends. You know what I mean?
I don't think I've ever paid for a woman's hair or nails and shit. Yeah, I've paid for meals and stuff, but that's just.
Hey, miss you too, King TL. Hope you're doing well.
Too, where it's like, hey,
there's a good website you can use if you want to order women's hair and nails. It's pretty efficient. The delivery time is pretty good.
Is it on the deep web, and do I get the scalp with all the bloody bits too?
It's actually, because of the liberal media, it's now just on Etsy. You can just get it. It's pretty legitimate.
Thanks, Biden.
Wait, so are y'all really saying that a woman who's having sex with a guy doesn't expect him to spend money on her?
Sometimes.
Yeah,
I mean, the ones that I'm
I think a
fucking,
woman
yeah.
in a relationship.
If that's not the kind of, if that's not the kind of,
Artix just asked, where are all the women in this debate? It's me, just me, me and Alexa.
About the social acceptance of one over the other. He's saying that there is a social acceptance of one and not the other. That's what he's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, it's almost like men and women want different things out of a relationship.
No, they're the exact.
Hey, thank you for the $2, Junebug.
They're like a prostitute. Like that's what you characterize a man who says, "I've invested this much."
If
in
you,
this time."
all I said was be clear about expectations.
If you buy somebody a gift, is that automatically prostitution?
I don't really care what you call it.
I don't think we have enough people on this panel. I think we need more.
Yeah, we need 10 more.
I think we need fewer women on Stardust, to be honest.
Let's go. Bring more people.
Let's bring more fucking people in.
Too many women.
While we wait for that,
Until
we get one person and then they have to talk.
Ideologies. Anybody?
Look, if you can't find one person to bring on, are you really a streamer? Have you really made friends in the space if you can't find one person?
Let him come in here.
I like the people.
Jesus. Let's fucking go.
Mr. Braindead, where the fuck are you? Mr. Braindead, come here. Come here. Come here, you drunk, sleepy motherfucker.
I want to point out just briefly, I don't think that incels really know what women are. I don't think that incels are interested in spending time with women. That's why they isolate themselves into groups with only guys, but they're not really into guys. So I think that half of them should transition and get breast jobs, and then they can all start jerking each other off, and then it solves the entire problem.
Didn't you say that you were an incel, though?
These are the solutions I come here for. Excellent.
You said you were an incel, so what are you?
I think.
Hey, do you guys think tech companies have a responsibility to stop the spread of red pill?
No.
No. God, no.
No.
Just to the red pill arguments, that's all you gotta do. The red pill arguments are ridiculous.
it's just shitty dating advice.
Well,
If
it's
they
people
put it
being
in
radicalized
shitty
in a way,
dating.
isn't it?
It
Isn't it like
really
the
is a
isn't it
shitty
like
It's
flat earthers
okay. I
kind
know
of?
you're a total loser, but act like an alpha Chad, and then you'll get laid.
Again, if you have to say you're an alpha, chances are you're not a fucking alpha. It's that simple.
Why is there so many people? Because why not? Excuse me. We need more people in this. This is fucking based.
Reservoir, what you
Get rid of horoscopes. I hate that shit. I hate. Fuck yeah. No. Look. I think anybody who says shit like, "Oh, Mercury's in ascendance" or something, should be like literally just locked away. They can go.
Honestly, as somebody that says those things, right? I think that's super base, but only because I don't want to consent.
Well, to be fair, I'm imagining that's what your horoscope said this morning, right? Some angry Ed Sheeran lookalite's gonna scream at you about your weird fucking astronomical.
No, it really what it said
that's
to me
who you
this
look
morning
like.
is that I have the shits and I've been shitting my brains out for days, and that's really
You might
it.
want to go to the doctor, man. Go to the doctor. Dude.
Yeah, no, it's just like I got a stomach virus and stuff. It was bad, right? And I got that stomach virus because I ate hot dogs, which were the true food of men everywhere.
Is that a talking pinata?
Yes.
Have you thought about having a tapeworm?
Honestly, mostly because I've been feeling kind of chubby lately, and I feel like I'm not living up to what the man idea is, and I know that that's a quick way for me to lose weight.
I've been thinking of getting a tapeworm myself. You know, if you know somebody that has them, let me know.
Yeah, exactly. So but the thing is, we can go ahead and I can move back to my socialization issue, which is something I want to talk about this with the tapeworm analogy, right? Where there is this very specific type of idealized, body type that everybody is supposed to want to have, and the way that we look at ourselves, like Star was getting at earlier with the dysmorphia thing, and I think this was somewhere where Smoker missed what Star was saying. But I think that we can kind of pair the two together, where really the idealized type of men, we're looking at fucking Vegeta, we're looking at Goku, and at no point can we ever assume that we as humans can become Saiyan. It's a literal alien species. I think that it ruins the way that we look at ourselves. And I think that I know one person who literally, because of that, developed an addiction to, well, not addiction, started using steroids to try to get that perfect body, And I think that that's actually something that Star has a lot of good in what she was saying. So
there's something to be said We for should that. love our big,
But
beautiful men.
I do think that a lot of people get lost in the idea that like that's the only body type that women love. And I know that you guys probably don't literally think that, but I think that it's a little
like
bit
femboys.
less strict than most people think, because like you see things like dad bod, right? The dad bod and whatever.
Femboys.
Or like a big
Dad bod's a
boy
joke,
winter,
though.
whatever it is.
Like-
right?
No, dad bod's not a joke. Dad bod is very attractive.
not
A lot of people really into dad bod.
I'm trying to pretend like it's my personality, not my body. God damn it. Okay.
Women like to cuddle. They like the heat.
And you know what? We never hear about mom bod.
So wait. What about like the skinny boy type, right? Like think about it.
Can we talk about the body type of BBC?
Yeah.
That's like
No.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Earlier, somebody went.
I'm talking about
Earlier,
what I'm saying
somebody said
is-
that. Earlier,
What I'm saying is, there are different types of bodies that women like, and I think there is something to be said for like you see somebody like Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, of course, like the vast majority of people would say he's objectively attractive. I'm not personally sexually attracted to that, and I think a lot of women also, like straight women, probably are not. You know,
I'm not sexually attracted to that.
You know, my girlfriend actually, you know, she likes different types of bodies. She likes, you know, skinny boys. She likes boys that are like bigger. You know, there's like a whole range of types that women are into, but we just don't hear about it a whole lot. You know what I mean? So like, I think that there are certain, I don't know. I feel like that sometimes the incel and red pill community hyperfixate on like the Chad body type when really that's just one small element of it.
This
Well,
is
yeah,
the
they're
thing is-
already
the thing
fucking
is women-
mentally ill.
The thing is, women don't talk
mentally
about
ill.
their sexuality. Women don't express their sexual objectification of men. So men don't know how to objectify themselves for women because so women women know what men want. They know exactly, but like men are just like. Be a giga chat, and women don't talk about what makes them horny because their locus of power is their sexuality, that traditionally, and so to talk about what makes them horny forfeits that locus of power.
No, different
Women
things.
are just as bad as men. What are you talking about? Women are just as bad as men with their
What are you
sexuality.
talking about? Like,
Things make different people.
Women are just as bad as men when it comes to sexuality.
Different
You are
women.
living in
are.
another world,
Socially.
Alex.
You
You
can't
live
deny
on
that
another
socially.
planet,
That's
bro.
not acceptable.
No, you heard it. You
I
heard
live on another planet.
Talking
You
about
think women are...
we all heard
Hold on,
Alex.
hold on.
I
live on Mars. I live
Dumb.
on Mars.
That is just
We all
blatantly
heard
dumb.
Alex just
It's
say
not
women are
blatant
bad.
wrong.
It's
They're
no,
just
it's
as bad
not
as men
blatantly
are.
wrong. It's
If-
blatantly
no.
retarded, is what it
It's
is. Okay?
here's the thing.
Oh my,
you would
really? Why?
Hey,
That's what you
yes.
say so?
Tom,
But- so
Tom,
listen,
you would think that, Tom, you would think that if you never talk to women, which I thoroughly believe that you don't talk to women, right? How and I like to see on incel stream, it's definitely true, right? Women objectify men all the fucking time, all the time.
Okay, that's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about. Stop
He's
going
right.
off topic on random crap, please. Stop. You guys
What are you talking about?
really
We
have
were just
issues engaging on the topic that we're
We're
currently
just
on.
objectifying women.
Okay, everyone,
That's not what I'm talking about. So first off, I have.
Shut up, Tom. Shut. Okay, Tom. Now you get to talk. Now I'm gonna give you the floor.
I have no issue having. I have many girlfriends all over the place. I have girlfriends all over the world currently. I could probably name them right now.
Uh-oh, we got a badass over here.
The women do not like talk about porn. They don't objectify men in the same way. They don't talk about men. They don't catcall men. They are not open with their sexuality the same way that men are. There's no way you could possibly.
You're just
think
not
that
paying
that's
attention, Tom.
No, it's not
You're
that I'm
not
not
talking-
paying attention.
I've been
You
doing
guys
this
are
with
not
Tom
talking
talking
on
to
this.
Geminis, Tom. That's the problem.
Porn doing this on social. I've been trying.
This guy's out here chasing
porn.
Sagittariuses.
Women consume pornography at the same or higher rates than men do. That's ridiculous. There's
I'm a straight
empirical
man.
data to show that.
I've been trying to make porn for
You're
straight
still
women.
not
I'm a
on the
straight
same
man
topic.
trying
I don't
to
know what the
objectify
ratio is.
myself on the internet. I've been making porn, and I want to attract straight women. And
I will
people are
tell
telling
you
me,
how.
Oh, you're never gonna get that unless you only way you're gonna get like an audience is if you go gay, it's LGBT, go trans or something, because straight women are never gonna fucking follow you or whatever, because that they just don't. Like you can't be a man.
But wait a minute. I can tell you how. I can tell you how. Smith, I'll tell you how. Smith, the way that you get.
Shut up. What?
Smith, the way that you get a straight woman following is that you post thirst trap pictures of you doing housework, doing things around the house, raking leaves and shit, fixing the pipes and shit.
Dishes and laundry.
That's being
laundry.
That's the traditional male role of being like a machine that does labor, but that's not sexuality.
Yeah, but you do it with your shirt off. Do it with your shirt off, with your clothes off. Do it with an erect penis. There you go.
That shows you're willing to contribute to house chores around the house because doing house chores is very vital, honestly.
I'm not looking for women that are going to contribute. I'm looking for sexy women that I want to
Right,
fuck.
sexy women are gonna look at you and they're gonna be like, "That's a guy that." Hey, shut up. The women are gonna look.
Shouldn't they?
The women are gonna look.
Talk over the woman.
The women are gonna look at the guy.
Now
that's not the
Men when it comes to men's problems, men need to lead.
I'm trying to give it good advice to Smith about how to get straight women to be interested in his thing.
I don't actually need advice. I don't have a problem. My social experiment is trying to do the thing that women do, which is objectifying myself. It's not like I have problems. I'm trying to objectify myself and just be sexy online, post like sexy stuff.
Yeah, so you need the Chad Hemsworth type body, just like women go out and get the BBLs and
like you can, if you're a woman, you can express your sexual creativity online, and then men will be really attracted. If you express your sexual creativity, women will call you gay. The only you can only do one of three like very stoic poses.
That's what I'm saying, though. You gotta do shit around the house while you're naked and your penis is out, bro. That's how you do it.
Anecdotally, I will say this. Anecdotally, before I started working out and weightlifting all the time, I used to be really skinny. All right, I competed in martial arts and I was really thin for martial arts. So before I started weightlifting heavy, before I started getting bigger, I would go on Tinder, and I was a teacher at the time. I got objectified like a motherfucker. Everybody I swiped right on, every single girl was like, "Oh, I want to be in your class. I want to get extra credit. I want to do this for you. I want to do that for you."
That's not objectifying you.
Yes, it is, dog.
You showing none of them with your students? I'm a little fucking concerned.
No, that's not.
Yeah, that's how
I want to be in your class. This is objectifying your body.
Sex with you.
The only place that men are allowed to be sexual is on Tinder. The only place that men are allowed to.
No, it's not. If
you go and flirt with women at the gym, you're gonna get some shit about that, and more and more. The more and more, like we're saying, no, you can't do it at the car. You can't do it here. You can't do it.
It really depends on how you approach the women, though. You can. It's all about how you approach.
I do see like, hey, flirt with people when you're in a place you probably don't want to be flirted with.
Smith, if you went to go, Alex, I'm gonna shoot myself. Okay, I'm gonna do it on camera. All right.
In video games, right?
In Minecraft.
Roblox. All right. So, Smith, if you went to go flirt with someone at the gym, yes, you would be seen as a creep. If me and Alec went to go flirt with a girl at the gym, they would see us as sexy.
I disagree with that. So flirting with women at the gym is generally a no-no. Just so you know. Now, I think there are exceptions. I think there are exceptions, but women are generally not there to be picked up.
It's literally like
if women are at the grocery store, not to be hooked up with women at the grocery store. Like, anywhere women go, they're not there to be looking for a hookup, but you approach them and talk to them. That's how you meet women.
No, you can't. No, that's why I said there are exceptions. You can't.
Think about like as humor, right? Like I could tell a joke and it could tank completely, and Joe could tell a joke and it could fucking succeed. That's all about like it's the same fucking concept.
It's deliberately.
It's delivery and how you present. It's how you present yourself as well. That's really important.
Doing some housework.
Doing
some housework. Going around with the garbage outside with a shirt off. Go and break some leaves up.
Rocking the dad bod.
When you go up to a woman,
I don't want to get creative with it.
Not complain.
When you go up to an attractive woman at the gym, the first thing that they're thinking is this guy. Like if you start talking to them and say, "Hi, how are you?" The first thought that usually comes to their mind is, "This guy's trying to pick me up." That's just reality. Okay, that's reality. So if that's their first thought, that doesn't necessarily mean they don't want to be picked up or that they're not flattered by it, although it often does mean that. But what it does mean is that, like, you know, you shouldn't be that blatant about it, at least maybe start like if you can start like a regular normal conversation and be a normal human being for a few sessions, and you guys get along and that's fine, then yeah, that could work. But there are very bad approaches that people take where they try to give like their number out on the or like try to get the girl's number on the first exchange.
Such
a
bad move.
Yeah,
I would like to weigh in on this too. I want to weigh in on.
You're going to meet this woman again, like this whole. Well, if it takes 3 or 4 interactions, then you can ask for a number. Like that's not practical in most situations because you don't know if you're going to see that person again. Like,
I would like to weigh in on the gym thing. I would like to weigh in on the gym thing.
That's reality.
In the gym, why a lot of women don't like being approached is because while you're working out, you're in a really ugly state, and you usually don't want to interact with people while you're in that ugly state. At least that's how I feel.
I get that. I'm not
such
talking
a
about
bad take.
No,
it's a good
take.
That's
right. It's right.
Because
it's right.
It's based on their
It's
perception, not on reality.
It's right. My point was only that there are situations where you can flirt in the gym and it'll work, and you shouldn't like think that it's impossible. We're just getting stigmatized more and more. There's no don't ever do it at the gym. Just do it and don't fuck it up. Do it right.
If you're being a normal
if you fuck it up,
person-
take responsibility for it.
But here's the issue.
Look, all I'm saying is that be aware that the woman feels like she looks like shit at the gym, so she probably doesn't want to interact with anybody.
Here's the issue. Here's the issue,
some
right?
women get really done up at the
One
gym.
second.
One second,
Please.
please.
1 second, please. Here's the issue with what was just said. Is that if an attractive man comes up and tries to flirt with a girl at a gym, it's okay. If an unattractive man tries to try to flirt with a girl at a gym, it's harassment.
Oh, I don't. That may be true in some cases, but wait a minute, Spartacus, that may be true in some cases, and I would say that that's some bullshit when that does happen. But I would say for the most part, women in the gym, at least for the most part. With women that I know, when we go to the gym, we feel very ugly when we're at the gym. We don't want anybody approaching us, whether that's an attractive dude or not, So.
Yeah, listen, it doesn't matter.
If a guy's working out of the gym and an attractive woman comes up and hits on him, he's like, oh yeah, a hot chick is hitting on me. But if an ugly woman comes to hit on him, like, oh Jesus Christ, get the fuck away from me. That's exactly what he's thinking. I mean, it's the same fucking thing.
Guys don't go out and say it's harassment. Guys don't go out and say it's harassment. Guys are gonna say no. They're gonna decline, right? But they're not gonna say it's harassment. They're not gonna turn around and say this person is harassment.
If you're a girl in that position,
I've approached women at the gym, and I've approached women at the gym. I promise you, it's not just about how attractive you are. The difference is that a 3 out of 10 woman isn't going to get called like being harassment, right? As long as she has a functioning vagina, she has a better chance of like that dude accepting. A 3 out of 10 dude has 0% chance of not being called like some creep harassing person.
That's okay. No,
listen. This is also a great chance the guy could be a creep.
You can see the feminist pill here, okay?
Like I said, in general,
it's a horror for women to have to get hit on all the time, and it's a horror for women to have to get hit on all the time. It sucks to have to be the vetter of who's the psycho and who's not the psycho, and it's also a horror for men to have to be the fucking predator that has to fucking seek out women. It's a horror on both sides. I think we need to fucking go more close to the center of both sides.
Real quick, guys. Real quick. 1 second.
Wait.
Okay, you go ahead and then I'll go after you.
There's another issue in that, Smith, and we can take this further and more serious for a second, in that women are allowed to be sexually assaulted. Men, there is no such thing, right? From a society standpoint, men cannot be sexually assaulted. That is pure objectification, if you ask me. There is no higher level of objectification.
I think if you asked most people, like the vast majority of people, if you ask them if men can be sexually assaulted by women, I think they'd say yes. But the general problem, though, I think the larger issue, the larger issue is that when it actually happens, is this the same society that like ran around saying you're raping me with your eyes?
Oh, who let fucking smoke again?
Oh God.
Okay,
what's this?
one
What's
second.
this?
This is gonna be perfect.
One second. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. 1 second. Stardust wants to make one point. My point is that everybody on the count of 3 is going to give their hottest take on this again. Okay? 1,
Before we do that,
2, 3.
What it is?
Mandatory.
Wait, sorry. Can you all please?
Smugbook is wholly responsible for the incel plague crushing us, and now he's turned up. The sheer fucking gall of this PNG motherfucking streamer.
I want you all to speak at the same time. One more time, please.
I think when women are asked that particular question,
I still don't know what this is about.
Okay. Wait a minute. I have a solution. On the count of 3, we all explain to Smugbug. On the count of 3. No, I have a solution. My solution is on the count of 3, we all explain to Smugbug what this panel is about. Okay? Is everybody okay with that? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smugbug, this panel is about incels, and it's about red pill stuff.
Yeah, what's up? Hey, how's it going?
We're doing how do you feel about incels and red pill? And the second thing, let's get more people in here. Let's make this the biggest show I ever
How
did.
come none of you do it anymore? You guys, we're so...
Because then nobody's gonna be able to hear whatever anyone's saying.
I'm the only real red pillar here. You all are still stuck in the fucking Matrix. That's pretty true.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
The Matrix is cozy.
Wait, the impact. Well, okay, right. So red pillars are basically just a.
Oh god, it's a red coat.
Yeah. Red pillars are just like
that a goblin motherfucker.
Focusing. Okay, all that's happening with the red pill community is that you've got this existing. I'm gonna say it, patriarchal structure, and then they focus it into getting things they want, like money or women, right? They abuse the current structures that are in place so that they can manipulate women, or so that they can manipulate men into getting money from the men. That's it. That's how the red pill.
Wait, are you saying that it's coming because that we have a current system that favors men like that already?
That was retarded statement.
Everyone
So here's
stop.
the thing: they're not abusing a system, right? All they're doing is taking advantage of the system in place. Wow, good.
That's
make money.
taking
improve
advantage.
yourself. You don't have to manipulate women. You don't have to manipulate
What system specifically are they exploiting?
Women. You do not have to manipulate women.
Fucking switch
If
up,
you
bro.
have status, if you have
Taking
if you
advantage.
have money, you don't have to take advantage or manipulate women. Women will fucking run after that is money so and status not- on I their mean, you own. don't have
Wait, bro, why? Why will they? Why will women
Because
run
they're
off
greedy,
the money?
gold-digging people trying to distract you from their goals.
Well, no, not greedy.
Hold on. Even if that's true, why has society? Okay, cool. Even if that's true, why has society put them in that position? Why did they end up like that? Is it biological?
Society has not put women in that position. Whining bullshit when they push back.
Chat, please consider giving me money. I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks.
Who made women like this? Was it God?
No, it's probably evolutionary psychology.
Actually,
It was
true?
It was feminism.
So this was
feminism. It was
So
feminism
women-
destroying
women-
transgender by telling
Wait,
women
wait,
that you are out
We have like 25 people on this panel. It's hilarious.
Women weren't gold diggers before feminism. That's your claim. Women were not gold diggers before feminism.
It was the Masons.
Well, I mean, gold digger is a negative connotation for it. I think it's just the
That's what-
female sexual reproduction strategy to seek and accrue resources through their mate.
Chat, please consider giving super chats and subs. I greatly appreciate it. Every day I'm here entertaining you guys and putting myself through torture for you people, okay? We're in a 25 plus people panel right now. That's fucking crazy.
Resources for their offspring, and they select for partners that are able to provide resources for that offspring, whether it's the ability to actually provide food and sustenance, or to protect, or financial contributions. It's safety and security. Exactly.
Anything but fucking breeding machines, can you?
Okay. So then,
What?
if we agree,
No,
right,
I'm
so if we
saying
agree,
that as I'm talking about this as humans as animals
solving
have
this
this
fucking panel, man.
strategy.
It's
It's the
happening.
same reason that men have a tendency to go for more attractive women with features that are indicative that they're going to have children. Larger breasts, wider hips, all that sort of stuff is kind of hardwired into at least heterosexual guys' brains as like, oh, this woman will produce children, and I want more children
this is great.
because we all have a genetic desire to continue on our lineage.
Oh, hold on. To connect this to what Smugglebug is saying. Hold on. To connect this to what Smugglebug is saying. He the capital is used as a signifier.
Capital. We're talking about biology now.
Well, no, we're not, because we're talking about whether or not we seek out status, and capital is just a signifier of status.
Yeah, but he's just going to say this about biology,
just
right?
another way of yes, we are saying that it's biological for us to look for. Hold on. We're saying that it's biological for people to look for safety and security. But you're connecting this to status, and I'm saying status is just another signifier of safety and security, and that's what he's saying as well.
Yeah. So let's just keep this super simple and not nuanced, okay? Women are seeking resources, whether that's status or money or whatever else. Everyone seems to, at least people on that side of the aisle, are saying that it's based on like a biological mismatch, and that, which again, this is where it's sourced.
Not a mismatch. It served us pretty well for the last 5,000
sexual
years.
dynamics, evolutionary dynamics, whatever you want to fucking call it, all right? Be autistic if you need to, but just do it while muted. So then at that point, right? We have this established set of like behavioral pressures on women to seek out these resources based on like the evolutionary biology, whatever else, right? So then we do agree, because my original point was that the red pillars are just leveraging this biological reality to manipulate women. Now, we can disagree on whether that biological reality has become like a social reality. It has. But and whether it's necessary because it's biology, I obviously disagree that it's necessary. But that's what's happening, right? Like, red pillars are abusing those mechanics to try and get the most out of their relationships with women in order to get... Cool.
And women are trying to
make
get the most out of their relationships with men.
I don't think that's the
They're trying to
current
get that.
prevailing societal meme that's being pressed, at least in terms of like the wide scale thing.
Sorry, are you about to like go into this whole we currently live in a matriarchy because feminism won angle?
I didn't say that. I just don't think that's like. I don't think that the current like prevailing societal narrative is a wholly pro male one, which is why we have more and more MRA and red pill type people that are coming out as a direct reaction to this,
I think Flowtrain made a good point. The patriarchy isn't pro man; it's just an existing structure, right? Like
I don't even know. I'm curious. Like in what like specific way is our current society patriarchal?
Well, I mean, I guess you can look at like economic outcomes. Like, for example, I don't know, men are only like 95% of CEOs. They're like 80% of like
But that's like
American Congress.
Is that statistic currently stagnant or static, or is it changing?
It's probably changing over time. I would imagine it's changing in a positive direction.
So,
but that doesn't mean the
changing,
problem is
if it's changing in a different direction to accommodate women, is that inherent in a patriarchal system?
I think the system
you define what you mean when you say patriarchal.
Let me ask you this.
You want an answer to your question?
Flamenco, let me ask
you want an answer to your question?
Hold on. If I'm a 300-pound man and I drop down to 250 pounds at 5'5", am I still fat?
You're skinny, bro. But it's changing.
You're getting thinner, though.
You're already fit, bro. You're done. You don't need to do
Are you getting thinner?
You're
working towards progress. You're working towards progress. If someone, if someone loved to be fat and hated to be skinny, right? But they're losing weight, then they're making progress towards being skinny. You can't really make it.
If somebody posts a like a before and after photo of you at 300 pounds and you at 250 pounds, someone's gonna be like, dude, you need to fucking lay off the snacks, fatty. They're gonna be like, oh wow, you're doing a good job. Keep up the good work.
No, but
I don't get this. I don't think this argument. I don't think this analogy really pans out for me.
Is that what you think? Are you fucking stupid? What's wrong with you?
My point is, you would not look at that person and say they're not fat.
You're right. Wait, hold on. Flamenco, the deranged take you just gave is actually like it serves our point, which is that it doesn't make sense for you to start throwing grenades at the things that are causing that progress. Why would you like negatively go, oh, this is lay off the snacks?
Well, because the societal
why are you trying
trends
to
that are being pushed towards that are negatively affecting men, and
Not
that's why
everybody
they're
feels that
raising
way,
up
though.
these
That's the problem,
issues.
Flamenco. Not everybody feels that way.
Hold on. Okay, hold on.
Well, no, I didn't say everyone
When you
feels
say
that way,
negatively-
but I'm saying that a growing amount of people are feeling that way, and that's why you have people who
A growing
embrace
amount? Actually, I'd say it's quite
the
the
men's
opposite.
rights things and the.
We're gonna do
Really?
quite the opposite, Alex. We just understand you don't feel that way.
Abolishing slavery had a
okay,
negative
yeah,
effect
nice
on
fucking
slave
comeback,
owners, bro.
Spartacus. Holy shit,
And
you
it's gonna
just
be
take
We just
power
understand
restructure.
you don't feel that way. You're trying to put yourself in the majority, in the ever-growing majority, and it's not ever-growing. As a matter of fact, it's not ever-growing. As a matter of fact, holy shit! Are we gonna yell at a mic? Is that what we're gonna do, Alex? We're gonna yell at a mic?
I'm gonna fucking yell at a mic.
Oh, is that what you think? You fucking moron! I can't believe why would you even say that?
I can so do that. I can yell a lot louder than anybody in the room.
No, that's not even true. I yell louder. If I'm a professional.
So now that we're coming back to Earth, right? Let's move towards this, right? So you're not in the ever-growing majority. There's a lot more conversation happening about men's rights. Men's rights is having a lot more people say, yeah, men aren't being treated well. There's a lot more progress towards that side than there is your side. Yours is factually
Feminism
incorrect.
includes men's rights. Feminism includes men's rights. What men's rights?
No, it does not.
Not the latest way.
That seems to be kind of like
the pure idea of feminism. The pure idea of feminism does include males' rights, but not the latest wave.
Real quick, Smugbug. Well, hold on. Before we get into another tangent.
We live in
Wait, real quick. Before we get into another tangent.
Just because, no, this is the original point. Smugbug was originally making the claim that we live in a patriarchy, that we do live in a male society, and the seeming argument against that was, well, we're moving in the direction of more female CEOs to counter the idea that we have lots of male CEOs as evidence of the fact. That can be true. We can still live in a male society. Just because you're transitioning away from a thing does not mean you are not that thing.
It's the prevailing societal meme to go towards that,
and this is a step further. It is absolutely not the prevailing societal idea. It is a prevailing societal idea. But the idea that it's a settled issue that we absolutely need more women CEOs, and this is what everyone thinks. I'm sorry, that's just
no.
not
I didn't say
true.
it. I didn't say that. I didn't say that specifically. I'm saying that the prevailing societal narrative is that like we need more X and X to be in a 100% 50-50 split.
Society. Some people in our society, even a significant number of people in our society, believe that, but that is not enough to disprove.
I would say it's the one that's pushed by
here's the deal.
Establishment media and other entities.
What's the biggest political?
How the fuck is the pinata talking, but not an actual human is talking about human issues?
Right now, if you are I will agree in one sense with Flamenco. If you are like a prevalent figure, you can't just come out and say, like, I hate women. You know, like unless you're Andrew Tate,
I hate
guess,
women.
But unless you do it with like dog whistles, you know what I mean? Like you still, but you have to be like underhanded about it. Like you have to come out and say things in a dog whistly way. I do agree that in a larger sense,
you have to
like,
infer
in
that he
broader
said that.
Society, that like.
This motherfucker doesn't believe in dog whistles.
The narrative.
Well, I believe in dog whistles. I just think that dog whistles are kind of cynically used to like essentially put words in people's
You guys
mouths.
not go off
Like,
topic and let him
unironically,
finish,
people sort of say that there's no difference between
topic.
Andrew Tate and Jordan Peterson because of
We're not going to get into a conversation on dog whistles. My point was
that he hates women, or just like women, or think women are lesser.
My point
no,
was
he definitely thinks women are lesser. I just think it's women.
Back up.
You guys let Alec finish, please.
My point was, it is true, especially because, you know, as we all know, corporations kind of own the world right now. Corporations are going to push what is popular, right? Because that's what's going to generate them the most money. And so what we see in a bunch of advertising and a bunch of media is women, you know, female empowerment. We're seeing some like gay and trans empowerment now, which I believe is good personally. But that shows that these are popular ideas. I do agree with that part, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the society, the core structure of the society is catering more to women than to men. You know what I mean? Like you can understand that
is there a specific example
because that's all. Hold on.
Societal trends lead you to believe that?
That's all optics. At the core, women are still economically worse off than men for the most part. Women are still victims of violent crimes for the most part, more often than men are, I believe.
No, they aren't.
Well, I would have to
No, I
check
think
that.
men are actually. I
think
think that's actually not true.
I'm not sure.
How did you ruin your own point midway through? My goodness, my dude.
Sorry.
Yeah, domestic violence, sexual crimes, but not regular violent crimes. So just
Okay,
just,
my apologies. Sorry, I would have to double check the data.
It will go down your throat.
I think
over
we
that.
can sum it up to say that men and women have positions of
Oh,
power.
a good
or,
one
like,
is healthcare.
are in different places.
Women's healthcare
Yeah,
outcomes
there
are
are
worse.
benefits.
Wait, how are
Can we
women's
just admit
healthcare
there's benefits
outcomes
to being a
worse
woman
when they
right
have
now?
a larger life
Can we give Alec one more sentence because it sounded like he was rounding off to
My
the end
point
of the
is,
point.
optically, you are correct. We are catering more toward women optically, but at where it matters, right? Like in terms of economics, in terms of healthcare, in terms of other things I can't think of right now, which I'm sure if you gave me enough time I could. Women are not doing so hot, right? That's all I'm saying.
So real quick to rebut, I think you're just sort of making shit up. You said that in terms of overall, women face more violent crime. The FBI homicide statistic. I would disagree with that.
I backtracked that immediately.
Nice try. I knew you were gonna do it. Fuck off. Next point.
Wait, no,
preempted
fuck you, Slug.
I preempted it, we know.
So in terms of overall homicide statistics, women account for about 3,000 homicides, men 10,000. So they're not doing very well there.
Listen, stop.
Average female life expectancy is also a lot higher than men. So I don't know where you're getting the healthcare outcomes. Unless we're equating all women's healthcare to pregnancy in terms of abortion.
I'm gonna write a
little
fucking
weird.
fanfic about you and flamenco, Smug Bug. I think that's the only way we're going to respond to this.
I just have to talk about this.
In terms of maybe
a children's book.
In terms of overall salary discrepancies, possibly, but in terms of what fields women tend to naturally gravitate towards, I don't know about that one either.
Also, in major metropolitan areas, under 30 women are doing better than men right now.
Okay, that's the question. That's the question. Hold on. No, that's a dumb way to do this. I just want to ask, why do women? Let's take this because look, there's obviously going to be some domains where women are doing better, and some domains where men are doing better, and obviously I think most of us.
Question.
And most of us agree that there are more women. There are more problems, all right, on the female side, but it's obviously a tough one, right? Now, hold on. Why do women? Yeah, shut the fuck up, moron. Actually,
why do you
have
to add that in?
Because I'm. Holy shit, let me finish. Right. Why do women gravitate towards certain fields? Let me ask you that question. Pure biology?
Prevailing societal memes, possibly some genetic components, but yeah.
Okay, right. So if there's a societal component to it, then if there's a societal component to it, then shouldn't we adjust that societal component? Right? Maybe it's a kind of pressure or an influence on people to go into certain roles.
No, actually, I think that men have.
We shouldn't be pushing women into lower paid roles.
No.
Wait. Men have pressure to go into.
Biologically, women are going to be drawn to more jobs that are
that's bullshit.
Empathy or
men have
and stuff like that. They're not going to be able to work like a lot of the jobs. And if you're going to sit here and say,
okay, then why do we have the? Why do these fields?
Wait, let me just say something.
I mean, biologically, women are not going to be drawn to doing.
You're talking about
jobs that men can do.
Using jackhammers and stuff.
Women can do jobs that men can do. It's that simple.
They can. Hey. Women can do the. Women can do.
A man can do.
Women.
Simple.
Women can. Wait a minute. Let me get in here. Women can. But they usually don't.
Women talk.
I agree, Stardust. You're completely right.
There's only women on the panel. Let's start us talk.
If women can't do a job that a man can do, then you're out of your.
Let the woman speak. Let the woman speak.
Stop! It's Stardust's turn! It's Stardust's turn! Everybody stop! It's Stardust's turn!
It's my turn to speak! Okay.
Alex,
all
Kurtz,
right.
will there ever
Wait.
be a woman that can
support
competitively
women's
compete in the
rights.
NFL?
It's Stardust turn to speak.
And I'll answer your question, Flamingo.
Okay, okay.
Oh my God.
With some women, yes, women can do some of these jobs that men do, but for the most part, women are not choosing to do those jobs most of the time because, on average, women aren't physically built to be using a jackhammer or aren't really. Women, yeah, women are not. Women are not supposed to. Women's are not physically built as often as men are to be doing some of these really hard labor jobs, and that's okay. That is okay.
Biology, look at that.
And most modern men real quick, and we should support them boys.
Hold on 1 second. It is
Biology
boys. I think this is a distraction, personally. Because
hold on. That difference in physicality is only explanatory for hard labor jobs, but we still see massive gender gaps in, for example, white collar jobs. Now they still can do those jobs, but an underlying question is there an influence? Is there a preference among women to not choose those jobs? And if so, where does that come from?
We have data for
If
this.
it's
Right?
any-
If you look at,
if
if you
you
look
look
at
at-
I
think it comes from-
it's
think that
the idea of nurturing.
Okay, listen.
If you look at personalities,
if you look at countries actually have high levels of quality, they actually choose those jobs.
Real quick.
Hold on. Samantha, women in these same white-collar jobs.
If you look at,
if you look at, raising a child.
Let Samantha talk, goddammit. Go on.
Let
Samantha.
I just want to say, streaming right now, if I don't get to talk, it's about to lose their channel. I guarantee it.
Okay, don't be shitty. Don't be shitty. Don't be shitty.
Finding my channel.
I actually broke the gender expectation anyway.
I would suggest just muting Tate if you're streaming.
You know what the TOS
Just
is?
mute Tate
I
if you're
do.
streaming. If he's let's stream.
Hey, don't make threats like that.
Can we hold on.
I'm not streaming on Twitch. You can't take away my channel.
Holy shit!
Okay. Are we having fun? Is everyone having fun?
This is fucking amazing.
Hold on.
I need topic right now.
I want Samantha to finish her point, and then chaos to ensue.
So, women work on average less hours than men in these same white-collar jobs. They take time off to raise a kid and have a kid and be pregnant and fucking postpartum care and all this dog shit, right?
Yo.
They fucking take mental health breaks. They like just are less capable in some of these job fields, even in white-collar fields, because it's emotions versus logic in a lot of the white-collar fields where you need logic. So this is cope, right? Men work harder, have a better like work ethic. They work longer hours, and they have better job performance overall.
You're saying that like it's a good thing. Men have pressure. Those white collar jobs suck.
Wait.
I think women.
Chat, by the way, we're going to be hopping over to our debates shortly here.
Andrew, by what metric? I want to challenge Andrew. By what metric are you saying? By what metric are you saying? Hold on. This is important. By what metric is Tracy saying that men have a better work ethic than women? That's what I want to know.
You said earlier that men have issues with socialization. More likely that they're going to focus on something like that instead of actually living a more well-rounded life like women do. They have other priorities besides things. Men have socialization issues, so they don't have well-rounded lives.
Because women are inherently born with value, and men have to earn it, so they tend to work harder to earn that value.
Are you being a troll right now, or like?
Are you retarded?
Probably, but also
no, she's dead serious.
The fact that I am doesn't mean anything.
No, but women are happier. But women are happier. Like they're unhappy that they don't have these opportunities that men have. So to say that they're happier, why would they be pushing to work all these jobs?
Like you're listening to a small subset of society, not society as a.
Oh, but we should listen to you. I think the smaller subset of society.
Like, does anybody take raid coats seriously anymore? I thought we fucking told you to shut your fucking mouth in 1776, faggot.
I think I'm gonna have to leave. I'm gonna have to leave the
Very
panel.
base use of the gamer word. I'm not
For
gonna
the sake
lie.
of my channel, I'm gonna have to leave the panel.
She's been muted. We are in the clear.
Please moderate your.
I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, hold on 1 sec, Alexa.
We all disavow. We all disavow. We all disavow.
I mean, I don't care, but it is shitty if you're doing it to people's channels.
How dare she?
Oh,
I mean, he literally said he was going to do that.
My virginal ears.
He's gonna. Anyone who interrupts him, he's gonna go find their channels.
What? Okay, I said shut it. Okay, we disavow that. Didn't happen. Okay. Simple enough. Okay, back in Stardust, need to go to a different show, a lesser show, but I'm gonna let them allow themselves to shout themselves out and stuff like that. So Beckett, go.
Okay, Beckett of Crabs, I've just got a really quick finishing statement. I've dug this up from one of our great thinkers of the history, Francis E. Deck, and I think that it will speak to the economic problems that we're all facing. So, in the words of Francis E. Deck, I face the deadly insidious inevitability of gradual conspiracy, complete, alone, and isolated, waiting for my undetectable extermination. I very seldom venture out to one of these last plebeian supermarkets left in this gigantic Frankenstein-infested boarding-up ghost town. We already have a sea god top-secret dual food standard, inferior degeneration plebeian masses, vegetables and food for the scum, wholesome normal vegetables and foods. I hide, starving and begging for the incomplete and late delivery of plebeian, especially picked, secretly coded inferior, seriously degenerative, unbelievably and scientifically genetically engineered hybrid protein poisoning general soup and pulp hybrid horse radish green vegetables for my vegetarian diet. And I think that that is something that we can all appreciate after a panel like this. Thank you all, and I hope
Truer words never said before.
I hope that you all, have inconvenient things happen to you. Good night.
You stole my line.
That's
What the
our
fuck?
time right
I
there.
love you, Beckett, and I miss you.
All right, guys, it's time for me to go too. I have the debate to go to, so you can find all my links at links.fromstardust.net. Again, links.fromstardust.net. Thanks so much.
Stardust rules. Stardust rules.
I love you, Stardust. I miss you already.